Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve. Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
On this Friday, we're going to go back 79 years to February 11th, 1943. Ezra Stone starring as Henry Aldrich. He was the original Henry Aldrich, back in the Aldrich family. And it is a Valentine's Day party. As you know, Valentine's Day just around the corner. And we thank you for tuning in on this Friday. This is the 11th day of February, 42nd day of the year, 323 days remaining until we get to 2023. The first hospital in the U.S. opened, Pennsylvania Hospital, in 1752. The Religious Society of Friends petitioned Congress for the abolition of slavery in 1790. Of course, they were the Quakers. First session of the Senate opened to the public in 1794. Anthracite coal was first burned as fuel experimentally in 1808. Robert Fulton patenting the steamboat on this date in 1809. It was on this date in 1812 Massachusetts Governor Elbridge Gerry gerrymandered for the first time. The House of Representatives passed a resolution in 1861 guaranteeing non-interference with slavery in any state. A record on this date in 1939 is the Lockheed P-38 flew from California to New York in just 7 hours and 2 minutes. General Eisenhower was selected to command the Allied armies in Europe in 1943. 10 years later, President Eisenhower refused a clemency appeal for Ethel and Julius Rosenberg, accused atomic spies. Soviet Union broke off diplomatic relations with Israel on this date also in 1953. Beatle Ringo Starr married Maureen Cox, no relation, in London. Starr described the bedlam outside his apartment after the wedding, what he hoped for his honeymoon.
The house is surrounded by teenagers at the moment. You just can't get out.
Yeah, well, we didn't think it would be, you see. We expected, because the wedding went so smoothly, quietly, and we'd get down here and sort of have a honeymoon and sort of, have a good time, but everyone's found out, so that's finished.
The craziness of teenagers back in 1965. Starr and Cox, no relation, would divorce in 1975. Just prior to his sentencing on this date in 1988, Jason Landon made a public apology for his role in the Howard Beach incident.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Griffith, for your senseless loss. I'm sorry, Mom and Dad, that your lives and hopes have been so violently turned around.
Landon sentenced to 5 to 15 years in jail. He was one of a group of white teenagers who on December 20th, 1986, assaulted 3 African-American men. Nelson Mandela, a political prisoner for 27 years, freed on this date in 1990.
Today, the majority of South Africans, black and white, recognize that apartheid has no future.
In 1997, Space Shuttle Discovery launched on a mission to service the Hubble Space Telescope. And it was in 2006, Vice President Dick Cheney accidentally shot Harry Whittington in the face while the two were hunting together. At a White House press briefing, spokesman Scott McClellan was barraged by reporters' questions about the hunting accident. Most wanted to know how this could happen on a Saturday. Word of it not leak out till the next day. McClellan repeatedly asked when the president learned of the accident and if the vice president personally spoke with him. Here's one exchange.
When did the president know that the vice president was the shooter? What time?
Again, there's additional information coming in that night, and the details continue to come in throughout the morning into the Sunday morning time period.
The vice president did not call the president to tell him he was the shooter?
Suzanne, go ahead.
What a mess. Back in 2017, North Korea test-fired a ballistic missile across the Sea of Japan. Passing away on this date in history, actor Lee J. Cobb. Also, racer Neil Bonnet, actor William Conrad's a good friend, somebody who we really enjoy on this channel, his fine work in the golden age of radio. Actor Don Porter, also author Peter Benchley, Whitney Houston, and Vic Damone. This is the birthday of Thomas Alva Edison.
When I look around at the resources of the electrical field today, I feel that I would be glad to begin again my work as an electrician, an inventor, and we veterans can only urge upon our successors, the younger followers of Franklin and of Kelvin, to realize the measure of their opportunities and to rise to the height of their responsibilities in this day of electricity.
A speech that Edison made at the 1908 electrical show. Thomas Alva Edison, born on this date in history, as was boxer and actor Max Baer, not Max Baer Jr., but Max Baer. Max Baer Jr., Jethro's father. Also, this is the birth date of Eva Gabor, Leslie Nielsen, also Manuel Noriega, musician Gene Vincent, also Burt Reynolds, born on this date. Bobby Pickett, Boris, the Monster Mash, and lyricist Jerry Goffin. Birthday number 85 for Tina Louise. You remember her. She was the elegant one on Gilligan's Island. Birthday number 81 for Sergio Mendes. From One Life to Live, Catherine Hickland, 66. Musician Sheryl Crow still wants to have some fun at 60 years of age. Martial artist and pro wrestler Ken Shamrock, 58. Sarah Palin, also 58 today. Actress Jennifer Aniston, 53. Lincoln Park's Mike Shinoda is 45. Singer-actress Brandy, 43. Boy Meets World's Matthew Lawrence, 42. Destiny's Child's Kelly Rowland is 41. From Game of Thrones, Natalie Dormer is 40 years of age. And from Twilight, Taylor Lautner, he turns 30 years old today. Those some of the people celebrating the 11th day of February is their birthday. And if this is your birthday...
Hi, we're the Four Freshmen, and we just want to say... Happy birthday to you!
From 79 years ago, February 11th, 1943, Ezra Stone starring as Henry Aldrich in the Aldrich Family on this Friday edition of Classic Radio Theater on your favorite station.
What does it mean to be an American? Just what are our American values? Working hard to succeed, loving God, country, and family, being honest, strong, and compassionate.
Supporting our Constitution and recognizing that we are blessed to be living in America, the greatest country in the world.
Our Bill of Rights protects us, our freedoms of worship, speech, and privacy, our right to own firearms, our right to trial by jury.
Our right to be free, to live our own lives without some bureaucrat telling us what to do. Most countries don't have these rights.
Want to know more? It's all there in the book. Get your own free book, The U.S. Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. Then read it again, and this time share it with your friends. Our great Constitution is the basis of all of our freedoms, our inalienable rights. Get your own copy at freeusbook.com.
Brought to you by the American Media Council.
Thanks for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater here on your favorite station. Now, we don't play a lot of the shows of the Aldrich family in which Ezra Stone starred as Henry Aldrich. And the main reason is because most of those shows are absolutely horrible quality. We generally will play quite a bit of the Aldrich family's 1950, I'm trying to think, is it 52, 53 episodes? Those are the last run. 52, 53. And those shows were, quite frankly, of much better audio quality. Bobby Ellis playing Henry Aldrich in those. But the original Henry Aldrich was Ezra Stone. And Ezra Stone starred on Broadway, or didn't star on Broadway. He was a minor character in Clifford Goldsmith's play What a Life. And it ran from April of 38 to July of 1939, the show didn't do really great, but Time magazine noting that the show wasn't great, but here's what they noted. Chief amusement centers in Henry Aldrich, a cross between Penrod and Willie Baxter, who attends classes mainly in the principal's office, with a talent for head-on collisions, always ingenious, never crafty, always there with an answer, never with the right one, brash, bouncy, rumpled, rattled, rueful by turns, Henry grows into that rare thing on the stage, a person. Ezra Stone did a wonderful job as Henry Aldrich. Bobby Ellis was okay. He knew how to play Ezra Stone as Henry Aldrich is a lot of what it was. So we will listen to, right now, this episode of The Aldrich Family from February 11th, 1943, right here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Presents
Henry Aldrich. Coming, Mother.
The Aldrich Family, written by Clifford Goldsmith. Entertainment for all the family, brought to you by Postum, a tempting, wholesome drink for all the family. Postum. Boys like Penrod Schofield, Tom Sawyer, and Huck Finn live in our memories because they typify the teenage youngsters all of us know. And Henry Aldrich is another of these real American boys. He lives in your block, perhaps in your own home. The scene opens in the Aldrich living room.
But, Mary, what have I done?
You know very well what you've done, Henry Aldrich. You know very well what you've done.
When?
Didn't you and Homer ask the whole crowd here to our house for a Valentine party Saturday night?
Sure, we even sent out written invitations.
But, Henry, that's the night I'm having my party.
Mary, how could you have a party?
Well, my goodness, Henry, I've been planning on it for 6 weeks.
On a party?
Yes, for my sorority.
Oh, all right, Mary. Can't you meet at some other house?
Henry, Mother says it's my party and I can have it here at our house and I'm not to budge an inch.
I know, but Mary.
Henry, you're wanted on the telephone.
Yes, Mother, I'll be there just as soon as I get something straightened out. Mary, how about our invitations? What are Homer and I going to do?
I'm sure I don't know. You can have your party at Homer's house.
But Mary! Hello?
Hello, Henry. This is Agnes.
Who?
Agnes, is Homer there?
No, I was just going to call and see whether he's over at your house. There's something I have to see him about right away.
Well, Henry, we're all looking forward to your party Saturday night.
You are?
And I was just wondering whether you'd mind calling Lillian Spencer and asking her to come.
Lillian Spencer?
She'd have an awfully good time, Henry.
But, Agnes, I wouldn't.
What do you mean by that?
Well, besides one reason I'd rather not even mention, I'm not speaking to Lillian.
That's all right. I'd be glad to call her.
But, Agnes, that'll make 13.
Henry?
Yes, Mary. Just a second, Agnes.
Homer's here.
Well, tell him to come here quick. Agnes. Oh, gee whiz.
Hey, Henry, I was just over to the bakery and ordered 4 dozen donuts.
Homer, why couldn't we throw the party at your house?
Why?
Well, your house is a lot nearer the center of town, Homer, and your heating system's a lot better than ours.
Now, listen, Henry, don't you remember the last party we threw at my house?
Oh, Homer, that was just due to an unfortunate series of circumstances.
Even so, my father hasn't gotten over it yet.
But, Homer, let me tell you. We're giving a party Saturday night, and it isn't going to be at your house, and it isn't going to be at mine. But, Mother, why not look at it this way?
I'm sorry, dear.
Alex, have you seen that piece of paper I had?
What was it, Sam?
It was a list of the members of the Rotary Club.
Father, do you have any ideas as to how we could manage it?
Henry, I haven't time to talk about anything now. I've got to go find that list.
But, Mr. Aldrich...
Henry, I'm sorry, but you may not have your party here. Please go answer the telephone.
Yes, Mother.
Henry, what are we going to do?
I don't know, Homer. Why do you keep asking me?
Because I ordered the donuts in my name.
Hello? Hello?
Hello, Henry. This is Kathleen.
Oh, hello.
I just wanted to tell you the good news.
What?
Well, I don't suppose I should tell you, but I got a new evening dress for your party.
You did? An evening... but Kathleen, it's going to be informal.
Oh, no. Agnes phoned all of us and said it had been changed. We're to wear long dresses.
Agnes did?
Yes, Henry, and I just wanted to tell you I'm looking forward to coming. Goodbye.
But Kathleen! Kathleen!
What's the matter, Henry?
Agnes is having them all dress up. Who gave her any authority like that?
You know, Henry, what we've got to do?
What?
Something about the number 13. Either we've got to get rid of one of our guests, or you or I have got to drop out.
Now listen, Homer, you're not going to leave me flat.
Well, I was just making a generous offer, Henry. I know. Why not call Agnes and see whether she'd have any suggestions?
In what way?
Well, as long as she's showing so much interest, she might be very glad to have our party at her house.
Now listen, Homer, we're not going to get Agnes any more mixed up in this than she is.
Henry, didn't you ever taste the lemon meringue pie her mother makes?
Yes.
And there you are. Let me call her.
But Homer...
Hello?
Number, please.
L9717.
L9717.
Homer, how do you know her mother will make any pie?
Henry, why worry about that detail when you don't even have a roof over your party?
Hello?
Hello, is this Agnes?
Yes, Homer, and I'm glad you called.
You are?
Yes, I want you to go right over to Andy Morton's and get all of his records.
What for?
For the party Saturday night at Henry's.
At Henry's?
Yes, aren't you taking me?
Well, as a matter of fact, Agnes, that's what I really called you up about. Supposing it's raining real hard that night.
What about it?
Well, you wouldn't want to go out in it, would you? I mean, if it was practically the worst storm we've had all season.
What made you think of that?
You can't tell, Agnes. Suppose it even turned to sleet and froze right on you.
Oh, my, I wouldn't go out if it did that.
Well, I'm glad you'd be sensible, because I've got a wonderful solution. We're all coming over to your house.
What's that?
Ask her about the pie, Homer.
Homer, the invitation said the party was to be at the Aldriches.
But, Agnes, why not look at it this way?
Now listen, Homer Brown.
I wonder why she doesn't come to the door.
You know, Homer, something tells me we're going to be sorry we're having the party at Agnes's house.
Henry will have a wonderful time, and it was very nice of Agnes.
But why do we have to come over a day early?
Because she said we had to come and make the plans.
Sure, that's what I mean. Homer, we know what the inside of our house looks like.
Hello.
Hi, Agnes.
Hello.
Come on in. My goodness, I'm so excited.
Yeah?
First of all, I've got a lot of ideas about things for us to eat.
Oh, Agnes, so far as the refreshments are concerned, Homer and I have taken care of everything but the lemon meringue pie.
But, Henry, what are you having?
Ginger ale and donuts.
Donuts?
Sure. We just ordered 4 dozen.
4 dozen?
Sure.
But, my goodness, 4 dozen?
Well, Agnes, that isn't so many. As a matter of fact, I was just thinking we ought to double the order.
Sure.
But, boys, I don't like donuts.
But I do.
All right, my goodness, why worry over a little thing like donuts? Naturally, we can decide a thing like that later on. Now, here's the living room.
Oh, yes, yes.
The first thing you want to do is move the piano down to the other end of the room.
Move it?
Move it?
Yes, and you might as well do it now, while I tell my mother to bake a couple of cakes, in case we don't have donuts.
What's that? In addition to the lemon meringue?
Of course.
Oh, gee whiz, Agnes. Naturally, I'd move your piano any place you want it.
And so will I.
And Agnes, are we glad you can come to our party here?
Well, thanks, fellas. It was certainly very nice of you to ask me. And would you do me a favor?
Sure.
Sure. What is it?
Would you mind if I asked Gertie Parker to come Saturday night? She doesn't get invited to many parties.
Gertie Parker?
Gertie Parker? Oh, boy.
I'm glad you mentioned her. I'll call her right now.
Listen, Homer, who mentioned her?
But, Henry, why should you object to Gertie Parker when you're getting a wonderful room like this thrown in with her? Come on, let's move the piano.
Okay, but my heart isn't in it.
Push.
Push yourself.
Keep her going.
Push.
Now, wait a second, Henry.
That's what I say. Homer, after we get this taken care of, how about our moving that picture that's on the wall?
Well, what's the matter with it? That's Agnes's father.
It is?
Sure. Come on and push.
Push yourself. Gee whiz.
Boys, may I ask just what you think you're doing?
Wait. Hello, Mrs. Lawson.
Henry Aldrich, I'd like to ask you again what you're doing.
Wait, we're just
getting ready for the party.
What party?
Ours. Here. Hadn't you heard?
And we want you to know, Mrs. Lawson, we're very grateful.
Boys, will you both please leave this house?
Without... Well, gee whiz.
And I have a good notion to call both your parents.
Oh, you don't have to bother about anything like that. We're going right away, Mrs. Lawson.
Kathleen, tell me once more. When you called Henry, just what did he say?
Agnes, he said he had no desire whatever to discuss the matter.
And he said that I tried to boss their whole party?
Yes, Agnes, that's exactly what he said.
But I don't see why he should blame me, Kathleen, for something my mother did.
And I stuck up for you. I told him you didn't mean to be bossing.
My goodness, I was never so embarrassed in my life. I'll never be able to face Homer again.
I know, but I don't know why Henry should be so mad at me.
At least, Kathleen, I did one thing. The minute I realized my mother wouldn't bake anything for them, I called the bakery and doubled their order for donuts.
Really?
And Kathleen, as a matter of fact, I have an idea.
What is it?
First, where's your telephone? My goodness, when I get through, Henry and Homer will come around on bended knees and apologize.
Hello?
Doesn't she answer?
I'm ringing your number.
Homer, when you went back to get your hat, what did Mrs. Lawson say?
She didn't say anything. She wouldn't even let me in.
Well, I can tell you one thing. I'm never going to darken the Lawson door again.
And I hope you don't think I'm going to.
I'm ringing your number.
Thank you.
Henry, when you see your mother, tell her I found the list.
The what, Father?
The list of members of the Rotary Club I was looking for.
Hello?
Oh, well, gee whiz. Hello, Aunt Harriet. This is Henry.
Hello, Henry. What is it you want? I've got to get back to the kitchen.
Aunt Harriet, how would you like to... How would you...
Henry tap dancing around it, February 11th, 1943, The Aldrich Family on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Are you suffering with arthritis or osteoporosis? Do you have diabetes? Did you know that these are just two of the hundreds of diseases that have seen improvement with Dr. Wallach's incredible longevity products? You can't get them at a health food store. The only way to get them is to call us at 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. Do you have heart disease, fibromyalgia, or high blood pressure? Do you have a terrible time losing weight? Dr. Wallach can help. He was a veterinarian and cured diseases in animals. He felt that he could do the same for humans, so he became a physician. Over 50 years of research and helping people like you goes into every bottle of Dr. Wallach's amazing discoveries. Do you want to feel better? Learn how to treat the cause of your problem rather than covering up the symptoms with drugs. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065.
And on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, we're listening to an episode of The Aldrich Family, as was originally broadcast Thursday, February 11th, 1943. In the newspapers of that Thursday, 79 years ago, these were some of the headlines. Prime Minister Churchill reporting on the historical unconditional surrender conference with President Roosevelt intimated to a cheering parliament in London that an Allied invasion of Europe would be carried out during the next 9 months. Churchill said the UN had a complete plan of action and emphasized that Allies would strike with the utmost speed and energy on the largest scale. Further quotes, everything in human power being done to bring British and American forces into action, and adding, for good or ill, we know exactly what it is we wish to do. All organized Japanese resistance has been halted on Guadalcanal, and U.S. planes are attacking enemy bases in other parts of the South Pacific, according to the Navy. Announcement that Japanese resistance had ended except for isolated patrol skirmishes followed an announcement by Major General Alexander M. Patch yesterday that his troops had gained complete control of Guadalcanal on Tuesday. Already 20 miles inside southern Tunisia, the British 8th Army reported today rolling toward the fortified Marath line, while the British 1st and American 5th Armies extended their western Tunisia holding front to relieve battle-weary French being rearmed for the big push. President Roosevelt today nominated Lieutenant General Dwight D. Eisenhower to be a full general, coincident with Prime Minister Churchill's disclosure that Allied forces opposing the Axis in North Africa would be unified under Eisenhower's command. A concerted United Nations offensive against Japan foreshadowed today with the official disclosure that high-ranking American, British, and Chinese military leaders have met and agreed on offensive plans against Japan's far-flung invasion armies. Major General Louis B. Hershey today opposed legislation to require deferment of men with children until all single men and childless married men are drafted, and said the great majority of men inducted in the next 2 or 3 months would be men with children. Without giving any figures, the Director of Selective Service said he had previously testified that a lowering of the age of drafting to 18, which was done, would not meet the demands of the armed forces for manpower. The nation should get ready for heavy casualties, perhaps in the very near future, according to Secretary of War Stimson. He said that in a discussion of developing plans for driving the Axis from Africa. The opposing armies in Tunisia are moving into position, he told a press conference, and heavy fighting is in prospect. Joseph B. Eastman, the Defense Transportation Director, approved plans for a streetcar attendance arrangement for the Kentucky Derby at Churchill Downs in Louisville on May 1st. And Ford Frick, the president of the National League, said today the league had struck a snag in negotiating with a 6-man Philadelphia-New York syndicate for sale of the Philadelphia Phillies, and that there was no immediate prospect of a decisive move. Those some of the day's top news stories as reported in the newspapers of Thursday, February 11th, 1943, on your radio, The Aldrich Family, which continues now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
This is Henry.
Hello, Henry. What is it you want? I've got to get back to the kitchen.
Aunt Harriet, how would you like to... Have you got a full day Saturday?
No, not especially. Did your mother want me to come over for dinner?
Well, if I could arrange it, could you?
Well, what did you call me for?
Why, I wanted to know whether I could borrow something.
What?
Your house.
What's that?
Aunt Harriet, I have to give a party that evening, see? And gee, if I could arrange it so you wouldn't have to be there, Aunt Harriet, would you be interested?
Why, I might.
You might?
Oh, boy.
I'll let you have the party at my house, Henry, provided you don't invite that awful Homer Brown.
Oh, but Aunt Harriet!
Tompkins?
Yes.
Well, this is Agnes Lawson. Do the ladies in your church serve suppers sometimes?
Oh, my, yes. We have beautiful equipment downstairs, right off the Sunday school room.
Well, could you serve a little Valentine supper tomorrow night?
Why, I guess we could.
Agnes, Henry, and Homer haven't any money. Kathleen. Just a minute, Mrs. Tompkins. Kathleen, the food they serve wherever they have it is going to cost something, isn't it?
Yes.
Then why not let it go toward the church and make it worthwhile?
Oh, all right.
Hello, Mrs. Tompkins.
Hello.
Do you suppose you could serve something that wouldn't cost hardly anything?
Oh, I guess we could. Something as simple as a bowl of soup and maybe sandwiches and a rice pudding.
Yes.
Well, we're awfully anxious to raise some money for the new organ, and I'm sure the ladies will be more than glad to.
Hello?
Hello. Is this Miss Harriet Breyer?
Yes.
Harriet, this is Mrs. Tompkins.
Oh, yes. Hello.
Say, I've got some good news about the organ.
The organ?
Yes, the one we're raising money for at the church.
Oh.
A young lady just phoned and wanted to know whether we could have a little dinner for her, a little party tomorrow night.
Good. How many are you going to serve?
Well, I told her it wouldn't be worth our while unless we had at least 40.
Good.
And she said she'd see to it there were at least that many, and she might be able to round up 50.
Well, I'm awfully glad to hear that. That organ we have now bothers me every Sunday.
And Harriet, do you suppose you could be one of the ladies that'll help serve?
Tomorrow night?
Yes.
Oh, I would. I'd be glad to, only I just this minute got through inviting some people over here for a party tomorrow night.
Oh?
Yes, I'm going to give a little surprise party for my nephew, Henry. I know he wants one.
Oh.
And I'm asking in quite a few. Mrs. Tarbell said she could come if it wasn't too slippery for her bad leg.
Really?
And another person I'm going to ask is old Mr. Perkins.
Oh.
Henry will like him. He's a lot of fun at a party.
Good.
And Miss Fredericks, she hasn't been out all winter.
Good.
I'm just sorry that you can't be there yourself.
Don't think this is the kind of party Henry had in mind. February 11th, 1943, the Aldrich Family on this Friday edition of Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Here's some great news. If you missed the deadline to sign up for health insurance, or if you just have a plan you're not happy with, you still have a choice. It's called MediShare. There are hundreds of thousands of members, and they love it. MediShare has a 98% customer satisfaction rating, and this is obviously huge. The typical family saves around $6,000 a year switching to MediShare. Find out more. They're great to talk to. 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE.
The MyPillow.com clearance continues. Roll and go anywhere. MyPillow's $9.99. The Body Pillow $39.99. And MyPillow bath sheets on sale 50% off. Use my promo code USA. Go to MyPillow.com/radio specials. You'll also get a free copy of Mike Lindell's book. MyPillow.com/radio specials. Use promo code USA or 1-800-951-8175. On Saturday's Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, a whole train has vanished. And we wonder where it's gone. An episode of Escape from 73 years ago, February 12th, 1949. That'll be coming up on our Saturday show. But right now, let's get back to the conclusion of the Aldrich Family. This goes back 79 years ago, February 11th, 1943.
Now, getting back to the troubles of Henry Aldrich. Henry and Homer are trying to find a place to hold their party Saturday night. Meanwhile, unknown to them, Agnes Lawson has arranged for them to hold it at the Methodist Church. And Aunt Harriet, also unknown to them, has decided to let them hold it at her house. The scene opens in the Aldrich living room.
Henry, will you please answer that phone?
Why?
Yes, please.
Homer, would you mind answering it and just tell whoever it is I'm not here?
Henry, I'm not going to be your personal ghost.
But Homer, suppose it's Agnes trying to get us again.
Just tell her again we're not speaking to her.
Well, okay. And if it's somebody wanting to know where we're going to have the party, I'll tell them it's slightly up in the air. Hello?
Hello, is Mr. Aldrich there?
Mr. Aldrich? Why, no, he isn't.
Oh, well, when he comes in, could you please tell him that the Mansion House phone...
The Mansion House? The Mansion House Hotel?
Yes, I wanted to submit an estimate for his party Saturday night.
A party?
Yes, I received word that he's planning a party for Saturday night, and I wanted to give him the figures for a private dining room.
Oh, gee whiz, I'm planning a party, but...
Oh, are you Mr. Aldrich?
Yes, sir, only...
Oh, you're the gentleman.
Yes, sir.
Well, I figured out an estimate for you.
I know, but we can't afford anything that's going to cost as much as... Well, we just couldn't afford it, that's all.
Oh, this isn't going to cost so much.
It isn't?
No, not at all.
How much is it?
Well, first I'll have to know a little more. Would you want a fruit cup or tomato juice to begin with?
What's that?
I said, do you want a fruit cup or tomato juice?
Why, Homer, which do you want, a fruit cup or tomato juice?
Now?
Hurry up, we're going to get a party. At the Mansion House Hotel.
Oh, could we have grape juice?
Hello, could we have grape juice?
Yes, you can have anything you want.
We can? Homer, have anything you want.
Gee whiz.
Hurry up and decide. What do you want?
Oh, take fruit cup.
Hello? Hello, we'll take fruit cup.
No, wait a minute, Henry. Wait a minute.
What's the matter?
Make it... Okay, fruit cup.
Hello? Fruit cup's okay.
Yes, Mr. Aldrich. Now, would you want chicken patties with peas or lamb chops with limas?
Well, that sounds all right.
Which will it be?
What?
Chicken patties with peas or lamb chops with limas?
Homer, how would you like some lamb chops?
All right, with lots of mashed potatoes.
Hello? Could we have lamb chops with mashed potatoes?
Oh, yes, of course, Mr. Aldrich. Lamb chops with mashed potatoes.
Lots of them.
And how about limas?
No, who wants limas? Gee whiz.
Well, now about the dessert. What would you like?
Well, what have you got?
Well, we can give you almost any kind of pie, ice cream, French pastry, stewed fruit.
Stewed fruit?
Listen, Henry, I'm not going to eat any stewed fruit at my own party.
Hold the line a second. Homer, we can have any dessert we want.
Anything?
Sure. I've got an idea. Hello?
Yes?
Could we have pumpkin pie a la mode?
That's the old fight, Henry.
Well, I guess you could. You'd like it served in separate dishes?
No, just dump the whole works together.
Ask him about chocolate sauce.
Oh, yes. Would there be an extra charge?
For what?
Chocolate sauce.
Chocolate sauce?
Yes.
Are you sure you should have chocolate sauce?
Oh, sure.
Well, there might be a small charge.
Oh, how much will the whole thing, including it all, come to?
Well, just exactly how many are you having?
Why, 14 with Gertie Parker.
What's that? Well, I understood it was 200.
200?
I don't know where I got the idea, but that was the message that was left here for me.
200?
200 what, Henry?
Mr. Aldrich, I'm afraid that for 14, we'd have to charge you at least $1.50 apiece.
How much?
Now what's happened?
Well, the only thing is, well, gee whiz.
You can't afford it?
Oh, it isn't that we can't afford it. It's just that even without lima beans.
Well, naturally, I thought you wanted something rather nice.
Oh, we do it, and I appreciate your offer. Only, suppose I think it over.
And you'll call me back?
Yes, I may, but if you don't hear from me, don't worry.
Well, thank you, Mr. Aldrich. Goodbye.
And thank you.
But, Mother, we can't have a lot of fly-by-night young people who don't take anything seriously dancing around us while our sorority's having a meeting here. My goodness, we have a deficit in the treasury as it is.
But, dear, I'm sure they wouldn't pay any attention to your deficit.
But that isn't the point. Our president gets nervous with even just us there.
Mary, I was simply wondering whether there isn't some way we can help your brother.
Alice!
Yes, Sam, are you home?
Yes, hello. Hello, Mary.
Hello, Father.
What's the matter with you?
Nothing.
Her sorority has a deficit.
Yeah? Any phone calls for me?
Not that I know of, dear.
No? Didn't the Mansion House phone?
No, Sam.
No?
Now, Sam, you don't have to start putting in phone calls the minute you get home.
But, Alice, I left word for them to let me know whether they could take care of our Rotary Club banquet Saturday night. And we're expecting 200 guests. Hello?
Number, please.
I want, Elm 224.
Elm 224.
If you please.
Sam, do you have any ideas as to where Henry could give his party?
Why not right here?
Father. Now, Sam.
Hello?
Hello, is this the Mansion House?
Yes?
Well, this is Mr. Aldrich.
Oh, yes, Mr. Aldrich. I was wondering whether you'd call me.
Did I say I'd call you?
Well, I understood you would.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was the other way around.
Have you finally decided to go ahead with your party?
Oh, yes, definitely. The question is, can you take care of us?
I don't know why not. There's nothing complicated about it.
Good. Then I don't have anything to worry about.
No, not a thing. You just leave it to us. And on second thought, Mr. Aldrich, there won't be any extra charge for the chocolate sauce.
For the what?
For the chocolate sauce.
Oh, there won't? Well, that's fine.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Alice!
Yes, Sam?
I've got everything all fixed. And what do you think? They're throwing in the chocolate sauce.
For what?
I don't know, but it's very nice of them to give it to us.
Well, isn't that fine?
Yes, sir. I've been hoping we'd be able to have our banquet at the Mansion House. And you know, Alice, I didn't tell you before, but this year it's going to be a bit more important than usual.
In what way?
Well, I've heard a rumor that they're going to nominate me for president.
Really? Well, dear, you deserve it.
Yeah?
No wonder you want everything to be especially nice.
Everything especially nice about what, Mother?
Henry, I'm glad you came into the room. Kathleen and Agnes stopped me on the street and said they'd been trying to get you for 2 days.
They did.
They did, Mr. Aldrich? Did they seem apologetic?
They said there wasn't anything for you to worry about, and they'd be seeing you at the Methodist Church tomorrow night.
At the Methodist Church? What for?
I wonder what's going on over there.
Boy, I don't know anything more about it than what I've just told you.
Well, the nerve of them.
That's what I say.
You know what they're trying to do, Homer? Come to us on bended knees.
In the Methodist Church?
We'll show them. We're going to give the best party tonight that this town ever saw.
Where?
Mother, that's the least of our worries. Something will open up. It always does. And, Homer, do you know what I'm going to the phone and do?
What?
Double our order of donuts. Homer, how does my necktie look?
Wait until we get up here under this lamppost, Henry, and I'll take a look at it.
Oh, let's turn here, though. My Aunt Harriet lives up the street.
Okay. Your tie looks fine.
You know, it was very nice of my Aunt Harriet to call me up and say we could have the party at her house.
That's what I was thinking.
Did I tell you what else she said?
What?
She said she had sort of a surprise for us.
She did?
Sure. You know what that means. She's probably going out and let us have the whole house to ourselves.
She is? Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
That's what I was thinking.
Say, I wonder what's going on across the street at the Methodist Church.
I'm not interested.
As a matter of fact, I'm not either. Hey, Henry, look up the street.
Where? Well, gee whiz, what's that all about?
There's something going on over at the Mansion House Hotel.
Boy, they're all dressed up. There must be a lot of parties going on tonight.
But, Henry, there are a couple of hundred people out there on the sidewalk. They're all trying to get in.
Maybe they're all getting put out.
Oh, look, there's my father.
Oh, yeah? And there's mine.
Where?
Don't you see him with all those men talking to him with his back against the wall?
Oh, sure.
Oh, there you are, Homer Brown.
Gee whiz, Agnes, where did you come from?
We just came from the Methodist Church. That's where we came from.
Hello, Kathleen.
Henry Aldrich, do you realize everybody's waiting for you?
Where?
At the church,
We're not interested.
You're not interested in your own party?
In what party?
Now, listen, Agnes, have you been arranging more things?
And just what, Homer Brown, do you mean by that insinuation?
Now, wait a minute, Agnes. Wait a minute.
And before I sit down, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to extend the thanks and gratitude of the Rotary Club to several groups and, shall I say, individuals. First, I think we should thank Sam Aldrich for the very clever and original way in which he arranged this evening for us. I needn't tell you that for a few minutes when we first went over to the Mansion House, it looked as though Sam had slipped up and arranged a table seating 16 to take care of 200 guests. But it was done, of course, simply to teach us a lesson that we mustn't expect sumptuous banquets in these days of war. In fact, this very delicious dinner consisting of pea soup and peanut butter sandwiches and, shall I say, rice pudding, and let's not forget the donuts, was just what we needed to bring us back to Earth. While the 15 soldiers who were to be our guests are eating at the Mansion House and will join us later. Oh, incidentally, I understand Sam arranged their dinner to end up with a triple-headed dessert. And besides that, Sam Aldrich has asked me to say that we're going to put all the money that we've saved on tonight's dinner into war bonds. What's more, the treasurer of this church has just handed me a report to the effect that their organ has gone over the top. And I would like to extend our thanks to the good ladies of this church who dropped everything in order to make our banquet the success that it's been. I understand one lady in particular who had planned a Valentine party at her house for her nephew or someone, at the last minute commandeered all her adult guests and brought them down here to help serve, leaving the youngsters to shift for themselves as best they can. And now, ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce our genial chairman and next president, Sam Aldrich.
Ladies and gentlemen, frankly, I don't know what to say. Good breakfast, Alice.
Thank you, Sam. Father, will you have another donut?
No, thank you.
Go ahead, have one.
Henry, I have already had 3.
Oh. You know, Mother, I think that was a very good idea you had about lunch. What idea was that? To make a little custard to pour over the donut.
Incidentally, Alice, I won't be here for dinner.
Listen again next week to the Aldrich Family, same time, same station, for another sparkling half hour with your favorite youngster, his family, and his pals. The Aldrich Family, starring Ezra Stone, is written by Clifford Goldsmith. Original music is composed and conducted by Jack Miller. This is Harry Von Zell saying, you will enjoy fragrant, flavorful Postum. And remember, Postum contains no stimulants. It cannot make you nervous. Good night.
February 11th, 1943, The Aldrich Family on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Quick note, we're back on TuneIn, so you can find our podcast now anywhere we were available before, but you've got to look for the new name. It is Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. That's Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. You can find all of our information at our webpage, classicradio.stream. That is classicradio.stream. Please thank this radio station and support their advertisers. And most importantly, tell all your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite station.